What's up? Look at you. Here, okay, so Bambi has a this must be famous. This is interesting. I don't know what to say. How you doing? Oh,
sorry.
how you doing? Sorry, I was being speech.
You know, bothering me that Bambi is so nonchalant to walk in here with T.O. But this is the same person who admitted that she was dealing with Scrappy while he was living with Erica Dixon. So the more I dig into who she is, I see why you're standing.
A bit of a scrappy, though, his journey through love, heartbreak, and family drama has been documented on the show. Few moments were as devastating as when he learned that his ex-wife Bambi was expecting her new boyfriend's friend. One of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta's most well-known stars has always been open about his personal struggles. The anguish he was experiencing at the time was real, pure, and unadulterated. It wasn't only a television story. It was the tragic truth of a guy trying to move on while still being constrained by his past. The relationship between Scrappy and Bambi was anything but simple. The two shared despite their chemistry, their romance is a roller coaster of desire, disagreements, and periods of uncertainty. Even after the divorce, Scrappy struggled to move on from Bambi because of their marriage's many problems, disputes, infidelity, and divergent objectives, which ultimately led to an apparent separation. As every watcher of Love and Hip Hop is aware, he harbored memories of their time together, as well as aspirations for their future as a family. After their divorce, Scrappy and Bambi tried to work out a beneficial co-parenting arrangement for the kids' sake, especially with regard to the mother of his children. They managed to maintain a friendly atmosphere at times, but there was always a hint of emotion. Despite his own emotional difficulties, Scrappy tried to respect Bambi's decisions, even if he found it difficult to comprehend that she had moved on. He clearly wanted her to be happy, but since they had lived together as a family, it was impossible to imagine her with someone else. The information that would change Scrappy's view of their relationship forever. He had pledged to love and adore Bambi, but she was expecting her new boyfriend. He was taken aback. He hadn't expected this, not with her new partner, and he could feel the intensity of the passion that erupted in him at that precise time. A dream, but more significantly, they had a link that was hard to sever.
Oh my goodness, it's so nice. It's hard. Damn, let me see.
Scrappy had spent so much time attempting to mend the wounds from his past that this revelation was heartbreaking to him, despite his best efforts to conceal the reality. The fact that Bambi was having an affair with someone else who would now be a part of her life hurt him almost as much as the pregnancy itself. It was a sobering reminder that sometimes, no matter how much you want something to work out, it doesn't. This wasn't a simple breakup where time would make the sorrow go away. In a sense, Scrappy had once dreamed of being the new boyfriend, but he wasn't merely a fleeting interest. Scrappy had to come to terms with the idea that he would be a constant in Bambi's life.
You talking about sliding the bitch? I'm out for the right. What's good, bitch? You talking about bitch? You think a bitch like he's scared of go? I drag your ass on my mama, bitch. Do it, Amy. I definitely plan on using my words with Bambi. That's always my first thought as a woman. But don't get too damned about your height, eyes, or the none of that matters to me. Who gets slit, sis?
And you can't even drag your like across.
You done drug across everybody.
You let me find out.
I ain't even moving.
You worried about from 10, 13 years ago
Let you finish.
that I ain't even touch. But did he ever take you on a dance
When you kiss the smell my from the front to the
I'm never kissing him.
Oh, I hope I don't get bored and let it scrap you.
nasty Rashida, why you ready? Did you get this bitch some more deals on her music post? I got the bitch was fighting to her begging.
Watching Scrappy's reaction as tears welled up in his eyes was devastating. Not only were these tears of sorrow, but they were also tears of loss, regret, and a love that was never given the opportunity to truly heal. The man who had been Bambi's children's father and had stood by her side through thick and thin had given Bambi so much of himself and worked so hard to make things work, and now that she was expecting someone else's child, he was left to watch from the sidelines because the emotional strain of that circumstance was too much for him. Understand that this story wasn't simply about a failing marriage or two people who had drifted apart. It was about a man facing the terrible reality that someone he once loved had moved on completely and utterly. It was a reminder that there is no assurance of affection. From a difficult background to highs and lows in his profession, Scrappy had experienced his share of adversity, but this was something unique, a heartbreak ingrained in the core of his being that time money or success couldn't help him overcome. A piece of his spirit, his love for Bambi was sincere, and the thought of her beginning a life with someone else was too much for him to bear. He had always been seen as a tough guy who could handle anything that came his way. But in that moment, the man who had taken pride in his fortitude couldn't contain his tears. Scrappy's breakdown wasn't a spectacle. Rather, it was a candid and unapologetic manifestation of the fragility he had long attempted to conceal. Atlanta's hip-hop and love lovers have witnessed Scrappy's development and alter over time, but this unfiltered look into his humanity was a reminder that even if someone may appear tough on the outside, sadness and losing a loved one can still have a significant effect on them. The tenacious story was widely shared even though it was seen on reality TV. This is relatable to anyone who has ever been in love and lost it, or who has ever had to watch a loved one move on without them. Ultimately, Scrappy's emotional path changed drastically, and it wasn't only about. After he realized that his connection with Bambi was over, he needed to learn to let go in order to heal and find peace, even though the wounds would take time to heal. The objective of Scrappy's emotional healing process was to reclaim his own happiness despite the pain of witnessing someone else move on. The story was one of heartbreak, growth, and the strength needed to bounce back when it seems like the world is going on without you.
Oh my goodness, it's so nice. It's hard.
Years ago, you talking about sliding the bitch. You still think I'm out. What's good, baby? You talking about bitch? You think a bitch like me scared of I drag your ass. Oh my mama, bitch. Do it, Amy.
I definitely plan on using my words with Bambi. That's always my first thought as a woman. But don't get too damned about your height or your size or the width of the gums. None of that matters to me. Who gets this?
You can't even drag your like. You done drug it across everybody.
Let me find out.
I ain't even moving.
You worried about from 10, 13 years ago that I ain't even touched. But did he ever take you on a dance
When you kiss and smell my from the front to the
I'm never kissing him.
I hope I don't get bored and let Scrappy do it.
You're a nasty
You got no loyalty.
Rashida, why you ready? Did you get this on her music post?
I got the picture was fighting. You were begging for. Bye bye.